Hi everyone, Jason Lay, and today I have in attendance two of my coworkers. We have, sorry about the thumb, Janice and Diane, who have graciously agreed to be my audience during the course of this presentation. Today's topic is going to be communication, mainly nonverbal communication and verbal communication, the do's and don'ts to effectively give a speech. Nonverbal communication can consist of 70% of our communication. Nonverbal communication can also be displayed in various forms to include facial, body posture, tone of voice, and body gestures. Maintaining eye contact with your audience instills confidence to your listening audience in the presentation that you are providing, the material that you're putting out there, and actually makes them feel like they are involved and engaged in what you're saying, and that you're talking to them instead of talking at them. Body posture, meaning standing up straight, still gives the idea of confidence, self-awareness of what you're doing, and a belief in what you're doing and what you're presenting to the audience. Crossed arms, lack of eye contact, stumbling over your words, and trying to avoid eye contact tends to give your audience the idea that you don't know what you're talking about, that you're unsure of yourself, or that whatever you're presenting to them clearly doesn't matter to you, so why should it matter to them? Your communication, you want to be able to speak in a tone of voice that is clear, that represents easy to understand words depending on your audience, so that there is no confusion as to what you are actually trying to say to your audience and the message that you're trying to present. With that being said, in addition to using a clear and concise communication, you also want to be in a position to where you can clarify what you said to clear up any possible confusion your audience may have. Per the website that I have found, per the internet, there are 5 key roles to non-communication that I have already that are discussed in the article, "The Source of Effective Communication" by Edwin G. Wertheim, PhD. These non-communication cues can play a significant role in non-communication. Repetition. You can repeat the message that the person is making. Okay. Contradiction. They can contradict a message an individual is trying to convey. Okay. Substitution. You can substitute for a verbal communication, i.e., a person's eyes can convey a far more vivid message than words. Eye contact, facial cues like a weird look on your face when you don't understand what the person is saying, a look of an excitement when they hear something that either strikes a chord with you or is kind of an aha moment. Those are signs of nonverbal communication. Other signs are complimenting. They may add to the compliment of a verbal message, i.e. a pat on the back or a high five or even a hug. And then lastly of the 5 is assenting. You may accent or underline a verbal message by pounding the table, driving home your message, or a facial reaction or hand gestures, like what I gotta say is important, or at the end of your message to let people know that, oh wow, he's showing some passion to whatever it is you're discussing. Okay, so next we are going to look at a video via YouTube, and it is titled 1,000 Words Nonverbal Communication Speech, and it includes the actor Eddie Murphy and some other actor that I don't know. But this is going to be a good visual cue of how miscommunication of nonverbal communication or how communication in a nonverbal sense can be taken the wrong way. Okay, here we go. I apologize, the volume's not very loud. I'm going to talk while they're doing it. You see the characters trying to order a beverage. Okay, so that in this video, we observed Eddie Murphy going into a coffee shop, Starbucks or what have you. He doesn't use his words at all. He uses hand gestures. He does something to the effect of
3-shot espresso.
Yeah, 3-shot espresso. But the store clerk, he ended up taking that as he wanted 3 lattes. He wanted 3 Paul McCartney CDs, and he wanted 3 scones or pastries. And then at the end, when Eddie Murphy's using, the guy goes, "Oh, 3 shots." And then Eddie's like, "Yes, you got this." And he leaves the coffee shop with 3 shots, 3 beverages, 3 CDs, and 3 scones. So communication and non-communication can really go south or unexpectedly if you don't clarify where you're going with this or what you're trying to convey to your audience. I mean, he got there, but it was $62 later and a lot of extra items he didn't ask for. Which brings me to my next topic, communication. You got your verbal communication, we're past that. Now let's go to communication. How do you communicate effectively? Just to recap, you want to know what you're talking about. You want to be somewhat of a subject expert of what you're speaking about. You want to be able to speak in a clear, concise tone that is easily understandable by your audience. Language is arbitrary and abstract, which means your words can have different meanings to different audiences. So you want to, if possible, know your audience and make sure that you are using words that coincide or align with what you're trying to say, and that there is no misunderstanding in the message you're trying to present. With that being said, if there is miscommunication in what you're trying to say, be in a position to where you can clarify what you're saying. Throughout your speech, you also want to reiterate points. If there are several points attached to one main message, you want to remember to reiterate the points that you mentioned previous so that it don't somehow get lost in the shuffle. If it's quite possible, you want to be able to minimize your multiple points into smaller points so that way you don't just continue to take your audience down a rabbit hole to where they forget the entire time what was the point of this conversation to begin. So that is the end of my presentation, and I want to thank you for your time.